Okay, this video is gonna be mostly for me. So it's gonna be all over the fucking place. Just fair warning. I'm gonna be babbling a lot like some of my other videos just because I wanna talk. I'm feeling like I honestly believe that we can hold, or we not that we can, but we just naturally hold our um emotional disruptions, I guess you can say, within our within our body, like literally like chemically within our body. Like I literally think that whatever traumas we've experienced as children, or growing up, even now when we're older, or when you're grown or whatever, in whatever moment you're just adding on to that trauma, especially if you're not aware of it. If you're not aware of it, you're adding to it. Definitely. I mean, there's probably some people that don't necessarily add to it because they're just on a whole different vibration where they don't let stuff get to them, and they know how to be in control of themselves fully. But there's still those, even those people, there's still those moments where other people come around and they challenge, their vibration, their pattern, their frequency, their signature. There's always somebody or something that's gonna come and try and, like, to challenge you or to shape you a certain way. That's the nature of the universe. That's literally the fabric of our universe and how it works. But but right now, our reality, our universe here on this planet is, I guess, a bit stuck, you can say, and it's because of that, because of all the emotional baggage that stays just trapped inside of people for their whole lives until they die. And okay, I'm gonna start. I think I'm feeling strong enough right now to start talking about a subject matter that really bothers me a lot, because because of, you know sorry, I'm started thinking too much about it. um we honestly can live, I believe we can honestly live um years, like centuries old. I believe that we can live into our millennia years, and I believe that other species that are not from this planet have figured that out, or know how to do that. And I think that we could also do that. And for those of you that believe in the Bible, you would agree with me, because in the Bible it states that, certain characters from the Bible lived into their, well over their hundreds, their 500 years, 600 years. Some of them lived for a long, long time. And I think that the reason why many of us, don't and haven't lived that long on this planet is because of the fact that there is so much disease, and there's so much um just different ways you can die, basically. But disease and stress is the number one killer, I think, of all. I honestly think it's the root cause of every other disease that manifests inside somebody. um And see, this is what I meant when I said I was gonna be all over the place. I'm sorry. It all connects. It all makes sense if you understand it. This is the reason why it's so hard for me to like talk to people or to like, connect with anyone, because it's hard to explain these things in a way where people will take me seriously. Like, it's people are just so far away from that thinking, especially people in my life, like my personal family and friends. Like, they're just so far away from that thinking. It's like, I can't get to that point, and it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. Anyways, so yeah, I really think that stress is the number one killer of all, the number one root cause of all diseases. Um, and I think that that's because of the fact that we don't know how to deal with our emotional um, states, our emotional um, bodies, because we're full of trauma, and we're full of pain, and we're full of anger, rage, resentment. We're full of all these negative experiences that we've had at one point in our life that we never really got over, and that we've just learned to work around, work our personalities around. We shift our personalities in order to match whatever trauma and pain we haven't yet overcome. And when we do this, we become somebody that we're not originally, because, that's not who we are, that's not who we want to be, but that's who we've ended up turning into because of that emotional pain and trauma that we have stuck inside of us, that we can't get out, that we can't overcome, that we can't push away. Um, yeah. Sorry, I know I'm inside. I'm not inside. It's like an outdoor room. The floor is filthy. Yeah, we need to really clean in here. It's super bad, the floor. It's a work in progress. This room is a work in progress, just like me, just like the rest of us. It's like this whole fucking planet. Anyways, I'm losing my track. I'm sorry. We keep the pain trapped inside of us. We don't know how to overcome that. We don't know how to, we don't know how to program that into ourselves in a way that fits in happily and healthily within our personalities, within who we are. So we just leave it. Sorry. So we just leave it, and it stays within us, and it builds up over time. One of the ways that I think that it does this in a physical manner, which I'll explain. This is my own theory. Like, I've looked up certain researchers or researching and studies that have been done on certain areas, a certain anatomy, and the way the chemical body works within us. And so far, I haven't found anything that's contradictory to my theory. But there's not an actual, like, I guess, study that's been done on this entire theory. So I don't know. This is just something that I believe. But I believe that our emotions, not muscle knots that are, and this is just one. I'm sure there's many other ways that I'm not even aware of yet, of how emotions stay stuck within us. But one of the ways I think is muscle knots. I really honestly believe that if you have a knotted muscle within your body somewhere, that an actual traumatic experience that you're a memory, a traumatic memory that you've contained within yourself, and just learn how to, move your body in a way, and your words in your mouth and your mind in a way that, remembers that and fits in with that. So as soon as you massage it out, or you cry it out, because I believe honestly that you could also relax your muscles, certain muscles, if you cry whatever it is, that's wrong with you out. And I only believe this because I've experienced it myself, where I have a certain muscle, a tension muscle or whatever, or not, and I'm trying to get it out, but it's not coming out, and it's super super hard. It's like rock hard, and it just, it's frustrating, obviously. So I start thinking about how frustrating it is, and then my mind goes to that place, and I guess I feel like it releases that emotion. It feels free to come out now, and come and, release the chemicals that have been, contained within there, back into my body, to go back into whatever function that they have, that they didn't do in the first place. And then, once it's out of me, I feel like that muscle relaxes, and it's, god damn, my hair sucks. I feel like my body relaxes, and it's calmer, and I feel better. It's looser, and so this is just my theory of how I think, emotions are physically contained within our bodies. Um, and I think that over time, after you've acquired a lot of these points within your body, that you've just, laid over new tissue and new thoughts and new foundations, and new ways of being, you're just slowly killing who you really are inside, and it literally starts to kill you. It starts to kill your body before, it was meant to be killed. And I think this is what happens to people when they reach, old age, the age of 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s. It's because of all of that, that tension that's in us, that we don't release, that we don't let out. We think we do, we say we do, because we're over it, and we don't, let it bother us every day, on our conscious mind. But in reality, it's still there in your subconscious mind. You might not think of it on a surface level, but your subconscious is bringing it out in the reality around you, and you're, just doing what you're doing, ignoring it as always, or getting over it how you always have. And that you just keep doing this over and over and over until you learn it. And if you don't, you die. And and I think that's honestly what happens. And the thing that I was going to talk about earlier, where I kind of changed the subject a little, or the topic, the way it was going, was my grandparents. I really, I didn't know all of this, or this information didn't all come to me at the time that my grandparents were passing. I didn't have all of this yet, but I had most of it, the trauma part, and how to get over it and stuff. And I just, there's no way of a person being able to explain this to somebody, especially if they're a person that's like directly related to that person, and that has a history of, being inferior in mentality to that other person. It's just hard to explain these things. And like, I feel like I could have, if I would have been stronger, if I wouldn't have been so sensitive and so, hurt easily by people not, understanding what I'm saying, or thinking I'm saying something else, and thinking I'm dumb because of it, or whatever thing that pissed me off and isolated me. I feel like my grandparents would still be here right now. And that's a very upsetting thing to think about, but um it's just it's how I feel and what I think. And I know a lot of people probably don't agree with me. They don't even agree, probably, I'm sure, with my theory of emotions and being stuck in your body, because I'm not a doctor or scientist with a degree that has done thousands of studies and proved it to them. It's just my feeling, my theory. But I'm gonna go now. I'm getting, like, my emotional body's starting to take over more.